Hello dear students, today our theme is about public speaking. Public speaking talk is cheap, not anymore a well-organized, thoughtful talk makes many people a very lucrative wage. Henry Kissinger, Barbara Walters, Colin Powell. And about speaking opportunities at work, selling your ideas, technical presentations, customer presentations and reviewers, daily life, school board meetings, town zoning board meetings, PTA meetings, boy and girl scout meetings. And there is similarities between PS and conversation. Organize your thoughts, giving someone directions to your house. Tailor your message to the audience. Your 5-year-old asks you where babies come from. Your 14-year-old asks you where babies come from. Your 22-year-old asks the same question. Telling a story for maximum impact. Don't tell the punch line of a story first. Adapting to listener feedback. Watch for nonverbal feedback, looks of confusion, looks of pain or hurtfulness. So, differences between PS and conversation. PS is more structured, usually time limited, question not allowed to interrupt the speech, usually left for at end, and PS requires more formal language, no slang, jargon or bad grammar. Speech should be something special so that they quality as live events and are remembered. PS requires a different method for delivery. More formal delivery and no vocalized pause. Don't use stock phrases repeatedly. The speech communication process. Speech communication starts here. Message. Whatever is communicated. Channel. Means by which a message is communicated. Listener. The receiver of the communicated message. Feedback. Comes in many forms and must be understood. Interference. Anything impeding the communication of the message. Situation. The time and place of occurrence. Listening is important. Over our lives, we will listen to many more speeches than we will deliver. Helps develop critical thinking. Many Fortune 500 companies provide employees with listening training. And studies show a direct link between academic success and the ability to listen. And the last one, listening and hearing are two different things. Listening and critical thinking. There are 4 types of listening. Appreciative. Listening for pleasure or enjoyment. Music, movies, comedy, plays. Emphatic. Listening to provide emotional support for speaker. A shrink listens to a patient. You listen to a friend's rant. Comprehensive. Listening to understand the speaker's message. Direction to a friend's house in a class or seminar. Critical. Listening to evaluate a message. A campaign speech. A peer's research paper. And about critical thinking. Comprehensive and critical thinking require you to think and evaluate while listening. This helps develop critical thinking skills. So, about causes of poor listening. Not concentrating, daydreaming, mind wandering, dozing, listening too hard, trying to remember every fact, no matter how minute, jumping to conclusions, putting words into the speaker's mouth, interrupting speaker, anticipating what speaker will say, do next, focusing on delivery instead of message. For example, speaker's accent, clauses, stuttering, presentation tools. So, better listening. Take listening seriously. Like any skill, it takes practice and self-discipline. Resist distractions. When you catch your mind wandering, make a conscious effort to pull it back on track. Try to anticipate what the speaker will say. Don't be diverted by appearance or delivery. Lincoln and Gandhi were strange in appearance but were excellent speakers. Suspend judgment. A closed mind is an empty mind. Focus your listening. Listen for main points. A good speech only has a few. Listen for evidence. Is it accurate? Are the sources objective? Is it relevant? Is it sufficient to support the speaker claim? Listen for technique. Study the speaker's technique as a learning tool. Analyzing the audience. Good speakers are audience-centered. Primary purpose of a speech is to get a desired response. Keep the audience foremost in mind at every step of preparation and presentation. To whom are you speaking? What is it you want them to know, believe, or do as a result? What is the most effective way to compose and present your speech to accomplish those ends? So, the psychology of audiences. It's up to the speaker to make the audience choose to pay attention. Every speech contains two messages. One from the speaker, one received by the listener. People hear what they want to hear and disregard the rest. Paul Simmons. People are egocentric. Egocentrism, the tendency for people to be most interested in themselves, their own problems, and the way to solve them. They pay closest attention to what affects their own values, beliefs, and well-being. And demographic audience analysis. Look for observable audience traits. Identify the general features. Judge their importance to the situation. Traits. Age. Whatever your age, you are a product of your world. Gender. Old stereotypes no longer apply. Avoid language and references, racial, ethnic, or cultural background. Be aware of differences and be able to adapt. Religion, highly charged emotional issue. Be sure to consider the religious orientation or you might end up being embarrassed. Group membership. Guilt by association. People judge you by the company you keep. Situational audience analysis. Builds on demographic analysis. Identifies traits unique to the speaking situation. Size, physical setting, disposition towards the topic, interest, knowledge, attitude. Disposition towards the speaker. Disposition towards the occasion. And adapting to the audience before the speech. Assess how the audience is likely to respond. Adjust what you say to make it clear, appropriate, and convincing. During the speech, things will not go exactly as you plan. Don't panic, remain calm and adapt. Remember. So, who am I speaking to? What do I want them to know, believe, or do? What is the best way to accomplish this? Practice, practice, and also practice. Organizing a speech main points. Main points. This is number of main points. It is better to be remembered for covering 3 or 4 points well than to leave the audience confused and sorting out 7 or 8 points you made. Strategic order or main points. Chronological order, spatial order, causal order, problem solution order, and topical order. Main points. Each main point should be independent of the other main points. Use the same pattern of wording for each main point. Balance the amount of time spent on each main point. Organizing a speech. Supporting materials. Supporting materials. The flesh that fills out of your speech. By themselves, main points are only assertions. Listeners need supporting materials to accept what the speaker says. 3 major types of supporting materials. Examples, statistics, testimony. Always provide sources to give credibility to the supporting materials. So, organizing a speech. Connectives. Words or phrases that indicate speakers has finished one thought and is moving to another. In addition, also not only, that brings me to the next topic. Internal preface. Let the audience know what the speaker will take up next. Now that we realize the seriousness, I will address 3 solutions. Internal summaries. Remind the audience of what they have just heard. Let me reiterate. Signposts. Brief statements that let you know where you are in the speech. Numerate first this, second this. Introduce a main point with a question. What makes this so? Simple phrase. It's the most important thing to remember. Beginning and ending. Get attention and interest. Reveal the topic. Establish credibility and goodwill. Preview the body of the speech. Signal and end of the speech. Reinforce the central idea. And now use of language. Language is important. How well do you use language? Do you confuse the use of goodwill? Do you use phrases like terrible, disaster, or a good benefit? Do you use in the eventuality instead of it? Do you clutter your speech with meaningless words as you know, like basically, man, and really? Classics. Dean of students promises to stop drinking on campus. And meanings of words. Words have two kinds of meanings. Denotative, the literal or dictionary meaning of a word or phrase. Connotative, the meaning suggested by the associations or emotion triggered by a word or phrase. So, thank you for attention. Goodbye.